get into this. Hello and welcome back to another Costa Art Design Creative Guide to the Galaxy. Today we're looking at the Avalla R120 air purifier, and we're going to see how that fares under the resin 3D printing conditions that I'm going to be working in. But before we take a look at that one, let's look at what I used to be running, which was this no name. Well, it does have a name. It's given loads of different names on eBay by companies that have purchased these. I don't know where they're coming from, but they all have different titles from different sellers. So this is what it is. It's a 28 watt air purifier, 3-stage filtration system, 3 modes. It's got a CADR rating. We'll look at that in a minute and I'll go into a bit more detail about what that entails. We've got an 8-hour timer on that. Yeah, it was great for £30. Like I said, I picked it up on eBay and I didn't have the finances at the time to invest in something better. Well, actually did I, and I chose not to, and I went for the cheaper option. Yeah, I think that's what I probably did. I spent more money on resins, and I didn't think it was going to be that much of an issue. It done the job of getting a certain amount of smells out of the room, but I was running it full blast for majority of the day in order for that to work. Like sometimes I was leaving that overnight, like full blast. So when I went back in the room, it wasn't too bad. So it did make a little bit of a difference, but I quickly found out that taking the shortcut didn't cut it, and I needed something a little bit more substantial. So the Avalla R120 boasts multi-room functionality, 4-stage filtration system, low running costs, true activated carbon filters, and absorbs VOCs and toxic gases. That sounds good. Right, let's get this lifted out of here. A little bit tight. I can see this is childproof packaging. There she is. Right way up. Silky smooth packaging. Love that. Okay, what does it say? Washable pre-filter. Washable pre-filter that extends filter life to 12 months. Not bad. Okay. A carbon neutral company plants a tree with every purchase. So if you're feeling guilty about all the resins you're using, then buying this might make you feel a little bit better. Okay, I like the look of this. £15 refund when you give her a review, rate or communicate. Okay, well that's nice to know. Get £15 back on what I was overcharged. Not bad. Makes me feel a little bit better. Okay, here's our manual, and that's our one there, the R120. Let's have a flick through. Not much going on. Anyway, I'll get back to that manual in a bit. Let's get this out. Okay. Nice and snug. There we go. Here she is. It's nice and light. Handy handle at the back. Okay, feels good. Let's take this off. Have a look at the filter in here. Okay. Yeah, it's not coming off. It actually feels like I'm about to break it. I bet this is child-proof as well. If I put it back. Nope. Okay, this is not good. Let's have a look. Closer look. Okay, you've got these little tabs here. Okay. All right, I got it. So if I pull it forward, lift it up. Yeah, straightforward. It's just me being me. Okay. All right, here's our filter. I have to take that out and have a closer look. Okay. Before I look at the filter, let's take a look at how this. You look at the tab here and how that's positioned, because I was about to break it, which isn't the one. So if we place that in there like so, it's not complicated, but it was for me. Alright, so we've got a lock, timer, fan speeds, and I assume that's auto. There's a moon symbol there, but I don't know what that means. Alright, let's get back to this filter. Get a closer look. Okay. I'll take this part off. I assume this is the pre-filter, which I will remove. Take that off. It's nice and snug. Okay. And got some packaging around that I'm going to have to remove. Set that aside for a second. And there's the fan. That's what's under the hood. Okay. Let's get this packaging off. Safety first, guys. There we have it. Now looking at that, I can't see that this will be the filter that would need washing. I'm pretty sure that would ruin that. This is the carbon. There's these little carbon balls in there rolling around. Okay. All right, a little tab to help take it out or put it back, I assume. And that's that in a nutshell. Let's put it back. Do I remember which way this went? I wasn't paying attention. Was it this way? I think it was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It looks about right. try and put this back. Okay, it appears that it's going to be a pain. Nope. I've got this foam at the side. I wonder if it was actually that way. And I got it. No. The other way. Okay, this is getting annoying now. Let me have a look in the manual and see what it says. So we've got the quick start guide. Right. It doesn't say a lot. There's one page, from what I can see, dedicated to that, and it doesn't say anything about how to put the fill back. Finally, we got there in the end. Reasonable length power cable. Okay, so I've been running this air purifier for some time, a lot of prints. I must say it does take a lot of the stank out of the air, but I'm not really sure about this indicator here, because it's constantly green. And when I'm using the isopropyl, that is the worst stank out of the whole process of resin printing. It's not the resin. I can handle the smell of the resins. You know, the VOCs are in that. And this is supposed to take some of that stuff out of the air. But the isopropyl, that still has side effects as well. And it just obliterates this room. And this green, let me just turn this on. I mean, this thing here, I guess this is it just warming up or doing whatever it does. I'm not entirely sure why it does this, why it changes colour like that. It's just the loading process, maybe. Who knows? But it's not in the manual. It doesn't say why it does that. But it does it. And let's just wait for that to stop, because this is going on for a bit. There we go. Now, these numbers, it goes from 3 to 9 to 8, back down to 3, and up again. And it fluctuates between those numbers. What does that mean exactly? I have no idea, because look, there you go, 10, 9, it goes back down. And that isopropyl is really strong. I've got my resins out, and these numbers do not change. They're just the same. It's just from 3 to 10, and 3, 8, 10, 7. It just goes up and down like this. But is it doing what they're saying it's doing? I'm not sure about this indicator. I'm going to get onto them, find out some more. See, maybe in their next run they will provide a bit more information or a better indicator and tell us exactly what that's doing and when it's doing it. But I don't know. It doesn't react to the chemicals from the resin or the isopropyl. It has no effect on that indicator. I sent Avalla an email and asked them to clarify a few things for me, and they kindly got back to me in a couple of hours. And this is what they had to say. to look that up somewhere else, what that means, because it's not really indicated in their instruction manual. So I got back onto Avalla and they kindly got back to me straight away with this response. UV light is categorized depending on its wavelength. The UV light on the air purifiers is categorized as UVC. This will kill any germs. Well, that makes me feel so much better. It's a shame that that wasn't in the manual. The instruction manual really isn't the best. Considering the amount you're paying for the unit and what they're claiming it does, they should just break it down a little bit more and give you a bit more for your buck. I'm going to be running this. I'll be running it. I've got an 8-hour print coming up, so we will see how this fares. My printer will be sitting in an enclosure. I've got one carbon filter inside the printer, no, 2 carbon filters inside the printer, and one of Elegoo's small ones outside of the printer, and I'll just leave that running as well. I'm not sure how much that is doing because that's just this tiny little thing here. Leave the enclosure all zipped up, and so the room, you can't smell any resins in here. I might just have this ticking over for maybe, I'll set that maybe for 4 hours, because I'm sure some fumes will escape. So we'll set that for 4 hours when we start printing. Okay, so let's wrap this thing up. One thing I didn't mention was the sound level. Now, if you just listen to this is running at full blast. So it's not offensive to anyone else. When you shut the door, you can't hear that it's on. And I've got that set currently at 4 hours because the isopropyl, really strong resins. I had them out for ages, and my waste paper bin where I put all my kitchen towels, offcuts from the prints and the supports, they all go in there, and the bin remained open and it stanks in here. So hence me running it at full blast. But yeah, all in all, great unit. I absolutely love it. I can't imagine life without it. I will also like to add, I was doing some sawing and I had my little Dremel hand tool thingy, cutting some plastic up, and I had bits flying everywhere. I had a mask on, my goggles on. This thing kicked in at full blast. It went into the red because it detected that these, the microns, the particles that were floating about, it detected them and just stepped up into gear, and I loved that. Yeah, great. And once it was about 5 minutes in, and then it went down. I don't know, what's the colours? It was, I can't remember. Red, blue, something or another, then to green. Yeah, it did its thing. I nearly forgot to mention the CADR. I mentioned it earlier, promised I'd get back to it, and I didn't. I failed miserably. Well, I'm back to it now. So CADR stands for Clean Air Delivery Rate, and it measures the volume of air in CFM, which is cubic feet per meter. So the purpose of the rating, the CADR rating, is to give you kind of like an objective standard to evaluate how effective the device is. So the CADR rating is one of the most important metrics that you'll need when comparing your air purifiers. The other important factor is whether it has a true carbon filter, which this does. And the CADR rating is quite impressive. The rating should really be equal to, let's say, 2/3 of the room's area. So a room that measures 10 feet by 15 feet has an area of 150 square feet. So a good CADR rating would be at least 100. This R120 has a whopping 200 cubic meters. That's why it's classified as a multi-room purification system. I mean, I'm just using it for my print area, and every now and again I might open the door. Once it's smelling a bit fresh inside my room, I'll open the door and let it pick up some of those VOC stragglers that might be floating around outside the room. Yeah, so that's that in a nutshell. If you want to know more about the calculations and the ins and outs, then sure, go check it out, get a bit more info. There's loads of it out there. Yeah, I done the research already, and that's why I brought this one. The only thing that I didn't know about was how bad the manual was. You do get a lifetime support, but then you wouldn't have to keep contacting Avalla every 5 minutes. If they just provided all the information that you needed in the manual, you'd have no need to contact them. So Avalla, maybe you should look at improving the quality of your manual and the amount of information that you put in it. It will just give a lot of reassurance to your customers. It's just a friendly bit of constructive criticism. And well, there it is, the Avalla 120. Highly recommend it for you guys that are into resin 3D printing, and you're sick and tired of using these tiny little LED filters that really don't do anything. So yes, thumbs up from me. Wow. My journey is far from over, and there's so much knowledge and information that I want to share with you guys. Because let's face it, this galaxy is huge.